Καλημέρα σε όλους. Τι κάνετε, είστε καλά? Είμαστε στο New Hotel σήμερα. Περιμένουμε λίγο για να βγούμε και live στο Facebook και σε λίγο θα καλωσορίσουμε και την Ναταλία Μπαγιώνα από τον Παγκόσμιο Οργανισμό Τουρισμού που θα μας μιλήσει για την καινοτομία και το sustainability που είναι στην ουσία η νέα κανονικότητα. Βλέπω εδώ πέρα, αρχίζει και μπαίνει και ο κόσμος στο Zoom. Σε λίγο θα βγούμε live από το Facebook. Περιμένουμε την επιβεβαίωση από την Αναστασία. Είμαι ο Νίκος Μωράντης.
Καλημέρα και από μένα. Εγώ είμαι ο Ζένιου. Χαιρόμαστε πάρα πολύ που και σήμερα είμαστε μαζί σε αυτό το πολύ ιδιαίτερο live με την Ναταλία Μπαγιώνα από τον Παγκόσμιο Οργανισμό Τουρισμού. Θα ακούσουμε πολύ ενδιαφέροντα πράγματα και θα έχουμε έτσι και την ευκαιρία να συζητήσουμε μαζί με τον Νίκο στο τέλος της παρουσίασής της για κάποια πολύ ιδιαίτερα θέματα, τα οποία νομίζω θα ενδιαφέρουν όλους να ακούσουμε τη γνώμη της. Οπότε είμαστε πάρα πολύ χαρούμενοι που έχουμε σήμερα αυτό το live.
Λοιπόν, και τώρα μιας και είμαστε και στο Facebook Live, καλημέρα από τη Hotelier Academy Greece. Είμαι ο Νίκος Μωράντης.
Καλημέρα, είμαι ο Ζένιου.
Είμαστε στο New Hotel. Όπως γνωρίζετε, οι περισσότεροι από εσάς, όλα τα webinars της Hotelier Academy Greece βγαίνουν πλέον από το New Hotel και τα Yes Hotels είναι μεγάλος υποστηρικτής και χορηγός όλης αυτής της πρωτοβουλίας. Είμαστε πάρα πολύ χαρούμενοι που είμαστε σε έναν τόσο ωραίο χώρο και κάθε μέρα αλλάζουμε δωμάτια και μπορούμε και δείχνουμε και διαφορετικούς χώρους και ο κάθε ομιλητής έχει την ευκαιρία να μιλήσει από ένα δικό του background που κάνει και ακόμη πιο μοναδικό το webinar. Είμαστε πολύ χαρούμενοι γιατί έχουμε ξεπεράσει τις 30-40 views στα βίντεό μας μέχρι αυτή τη στιγμή με φοβερά σχόλια από τον κόσμο και χαιρόμαστε που όλα αυτά σας είναι χρήσιμα. Όμως, όπως ενδεχομένως γνωρίζετε, η Hotelier Academy δεν δραστηριοποιείται μόνο στην Ελλάδα, αλλά έχουμε και την international version της Hotelier Academy και πολύ σύντομα θα έχουμε και το international event. Δηλαδή, όπως έχουμε τώρα το Hotelier Academy Live Greece για την Ελλάδα, θα έχουμε και το international που θα σας πούμε σύντομα την ημερομηνία. Ποια είναι η διαφορά στο international?
Θα μιλάμε αγγλικά, αυτό ήθελα να πω. Ότι σήμερα θα πάρουμε μια πρόγευση του International, γιατί προφανώς με την Ναταλία Μπαγιώνα από τον Παγκόσμιο Οργανισμό Τουρισμού θα μιλάμε στα αγγλικά. Και βέβαια εκείνη η παρουσίαση της θα είναι στα αγγλικά. Ασφαλώς, αν έχετε κάποιες απορίες, εννοείται μπορείτε να τις γράψετε και να έχουμε την ευκαιρία να τις απαντήσουμε μετά το live.
Επειδή μας βλέπετε κιόλας να συστηθούμε και λίγο πιο καλύτερα, Ζένια, γιατί ίσως ο κόσμος μας βλέπει μία στο Desk Centers, μία στη Hotelier Academy, εμένα με βλέπει και στο Hotel Show.
Τους έχουμε μπερδέψει.
Ναι, μπερδέψαμε λίγο τον κόσμο. Να σας πούμε το εξής, ότι εμείς με το Desk Centers εκεί εργαζόμαστε. Στην ουσία τι κάνουμε, δημιουργούμε τουριστικά project. Είτε αυτά είναι concept ξενοδοχείων, άρα ασχολούμαστε μόνο με ξενοδοχεία, είτε ασχολούμαστε με εταιρείες που αφορούν τον τουρισμό, όπως το 100% Hotel Show, και με τη Hotelier Academy, το Travel by Interest. Άρα έχουμε δημιουργήσει κάποια startups τουριστικά και μιας και η Hotelier Academy είναι και ιδιόκτητη, είναι δική μας, δηλαδή είναι ένα από τα παιδιά μας, ας το πούμε, είμαστε και πιο ενεργοί σε αυτό το project. Έτσι απλά για να κάνουμε μια σύσταση, γιατί ο κόσμος μας βλέπει στη δεξιά, μας βλέπει αριστερά, στο Desk Centers δουλεύουμε. Η Hotelier Academy είναι ένα από τα project που έχουμε δημιουργήσει, έχει τη δική της ομάδα, έχει την Αναστασία, έχει τη Στέλλα, έχει την Μάγδα την Πιστικού, η οποία είναι community manager στην Academy και γενικότερα δραστηριοποιείται μόνη της. Να πούμε ένα ευχαριστώ τους χορηγούς μας, την εταιρεία Candia, την εταιρεία Epsilonet και το City Unity College, αλλά και όλες αυτές τις εταιρείες που στηρίζουν την διοργάνωση. Και είναι πολύ σημαντικό ότι σήμερα, να έρθουμε στο σημερινό μας θέμα, ότι έχουμε μία διεθνή ομιλήτρια, την Ναταλία την Μπαγιώνα, η οποία είναι director στο κομμάτι του innovation, των επενδύσεων και του education από τον Παγκόσμιο Οργανισμό Τουρισμού και αυτό είναι μια αρχή, ας πούμε, για το international άνοιγμα της Hotelier Academy. Η Hotelier Academy έχει ξενοδόχους Έλληνες που την έχουν αναδείξει και την υποστηρίζουν και την ακολουθούν, όμως έχει και μια πολύ μεγάλη κοινότητα από international hoteliers. Σήμερα έχουμε προσκαλέσει την Ναταλία την Μπαγιώνα από τον Παγκόσμιο Οργανισμό Τουρισμού, θα μας μιλήσει για καινοτομία και sustainability, που είναι η νέα κανονικότητα και ανυπομονούμε να ακούσουμε όλα αυτά τα ωραία που μας πει.
Και είναι ιδιαίτερα σημαντικό, Νίκο, ότι έχουμε τη συμμετοχή του Παγκόσμιου Οργανισμού Τουρισμού σε αυτό το event που διοργανώνει η Hotelier Academy στην Ελλάδα σε αυτή τη φάση. Και έτσι είμαστε πολύ χαρούμενοι. Βλέπω τώρα ότι η Ναταλία έχει συνδεθεί.
Good morning, Ναταλία.
Good morning.
How are you?
I don't understand even a word. The only thing that I understood was Natalia, so at least I know that I am in the right webinar.
Yeah, exactly. Natalia, thank you very much that you have accepted to speak to our audience. We are very glad that you support all this effort, and we give the opportunity to Greek hoteliers to hear your thoughts as you're an international professional in the tourism sector. And innovation and sustainability are two main major things that hoteliers are very interested about.
Yeah, totally agree. So thanks a lot for the invitation. And of course, I would like to share some views today about why innovation has to be our new normal, and what are we doing, of course, to work on this matter. When you, of course, talk about innovation and sustainability, we have to say that, of course, the challenges that we have today are the same before COVID-19. The thing is that COVID-19 have accelerated these challenges into the challenges that we are facing today. So, of course, where are we? 2.5 years ago, we decided, thanks to the mandate of the Secretary General Paul Likashvili, to launch the first innovation department for tourism. This is very important because in the past, a UN agency as UNWTO didn't have an innovation strategy. So of course, when we are part of delivering decisions, if we don't have innovation in our core business, we are not doing anything. So of course, to us, we work with more than 150 member states, and to us, bringing corporations, governments, startups, institutions, investors, and the academia into the same level and working with them is more than crucial in order to advance in the way we are educating people and in the way we are working for a more sustainable tourism. What do we do? Of course, inside the UNWTO, we have a lot of things. So regarding innovation, our flagship program is focused on bringing solutions through startup competitions. We develop specific tourism challenges to solve some problems. And of course, with that said, and with that digital and massive approach, we develop a specific innovation forums that are called to us Tourism Tech Adventures, where we bring together the whole ecosystem in order to bring opportunities for everyone. And last but not least, of course, we are working with a strong innovation network using those 6 actors that are part of the innovation ecosystem in order to grow and to make tourism a more innovative, inclusive, and of course, sustainable sector. Regarding digital transformation, of course, this is crucial to us. We are working on the creation of a jobs factory because, of course, if we want added value jobs, because today, maybe this is the biggest challenge that we have today, is to preserve more than 100 million jobs that are under risk thanks to the pandemic. So that's why we're working on a digital platform to help to connect people that are interested in working in tourism, and of course, the demand and the offerings that we will have here. We develop a lot of acceleration programs for governments in order to help them to be aligned with the skills of the future and the digital skills. We have an innovation hub, of course, and we have, this is very important to me and to you because you are leading the academy. So we have a Tourism Online Academy where we have partners from all around the world where we spread and we help with online education to scale up the way people are educated. And last but not least, of course, we promote a lot investments through our investment network, through multilateral cooperation, and of course, through the matchmaking between the public and the private sector. So where are we today? We have launched a lot of competitions, I already told you, but this is crucial regarding innovation sustainability. We have received more than 6,000 applications from more than 150 countries. Our pipeline of entrepreneurs and of young, talented minds is really huge. And I am really not only committed, I am decided to empower youth as a way of the tourism recovery, because of course, as you know, tourism is the most important employer of youth and women. So if we want to recover the sector, we have to start with that part of the population that of course today is the most vulnerable, but of course is full of talent to give to the sector. As I already said, this is a lot of competitions that we have done, but this is really important. We launched an historic competition here, and believe it or not, we received 10,000 applications from all around the world. And this is crucial because once again, innovation is part of our core strategy. And one of the most interesting things is that youth and women are committed on helping to solve these kind of problems or challenges. So I have to say, for example, that through the SDGs Online Academy, we have seen the SDGs Global Startup Competition, sorry, we have seen that 25% of the startups that presented from those 10,000 that applies to our competitions are led by women. So this is another way to help, of course, to empower people, and not only to empower people, but also to take advantage of that talent to create added value jobs through technology, and of course, to mind the gender equality gap. Of course, as I already said, we can do a lot of calls, but this is quite important to develop, of course, a strong innovation network. As you can see, we work with a lot of governments, national and regional governments. We work with investors, more than 230 investors, incubators, companies, academia, startups, because we really think that this is the way to empower digitalization and to help to recover the tourism sector. Of course, thanks to this, because it's not only about connecting the people, we have helped those entrepreneurs to raise more than 45 million only in 1.5 years. So I have here some successful stories. And with that said, that was my introduction to the thematic. Why do innovation and sustainability have to be our new normal? Why this is really important to us? This is crucial. This is the scenarios that we are developing to boost recovery. But imagine, as of today, we have a stronger scenario where we can decrease by 80% in the sector. Of course, we will need to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, at least 6.9 US trillion regarding infrastructure investments if we want a more sustainable world. And of course, in the past, as I already said, these, of course, today we don't have over-tourism because we don't have tourism, because 100% of our borders were closed. But this was a strong challenge before COVID-19, that of course, when the doors are open, we need to face it again with responsibility, that is over-tourism as well. So look at this. This is an example, but of course, when you see the top cities in the world, we have examples like this. The population of Barcelona is 1.6 million, but it's a city that receives 30 million tourists. The thing is, what are we doing to develop a more sustainable model? I don't know if you know, but marine litter in the Mediterranean increases by 40% during the peak season, that is August. Only in 1 month, we do 40% of the wastes of the Mediterranean. And of course, when we talk about transport-related CO2 emissions, our perspective is that the tourism sector will increase by 103% until 2030 due to the demand of course, flights. So tourism is a leader of a cross-cutting transformation because our value chain is really huge. When we talk about tourism, it's a lot of things. It's not only about traveling, it's not only about sand and beach, it's about recreation, it's about accommodation, it's about trade, it's about construction, it's about electricity, it's about finance, it's about beverage, it's about communications. So it's about financial services. So we have a strong economic and a large economic value chain, we need to be more sustainable, to lead by example, and to help those subsectors that can help the tourism sector to grow to be as sustainable as possible. So, of course, I don't have to repeat this. You may know this better than me. 1 per 10 jobs worldwide are in tourism. As I already said, 54% of people employed in tourism are women. 7% of the exports, and of course, before the pandemic, we were the most important economic sector regarding growth. 10-year growth, 1.5 billion tourists. But of course, those data are amazing, those facts are amazing, but regarding innovation, where we stand, only 5% of the top innovators of the world are in tourism. So when we talk about unicorns that are the most valued startups or scale-ups in the world, only 5% of that ecosystem is related to tourism. So this is a challenge, of course, because we need to increase the number of entrepreneurs, the number of technologies that are working in tourism, if we want, of course, to have a big participation on the tech sector. When you see this, let me know, where is Greece? That is one of the powerful countries in the world that is focused in tourism. So when you see where are the top startups, tech startups in the world, there are only 2 countries in the world, that is China and USA, where, of course, we have a lot of, or a more mature innovation ecosystem. But where is Europe by far? That, as you know, 50% of the travelers of the world comes to Europe. But I only see Germany, and that's it. But where is Italy? Where is Greece? Where is Portugal? Where is Spain? Where is France? That are the most important tourist destinations of the world. And of course, startups increase the possibility, of course, of finding not only non-conventional solutions, but of course, it helps us to develop added value jobs through that technologies, using artificial intelligence, big data analytics, augmented and virtual reality. Of course, that's a way to increase the added value model in tourism. So from 2016 to 2025, digitalization in aviation, travel, and tourism is expected to create a value of 305 billion in the industry. And it will give benefits on, or valued at, $700 billion for customers. And of course, if we focused on reduce our environmental footprints, of course, we will lead by example, and by far, we will be the most transversal economic sector. So if you were not convinced about why innovation and sustainability have to be our new normal, I think that after these facts and figures that I have shown, maybe you are more convinced today. Of course, what's the way forward? What do we have to do today if we want to reach those numbers? First of all, this is crucial. Added value jobs is not only about preserving the jobs. I was telling you that 38% of the people that works in tourism are women and youth. The thing that I didn't tell you that only 50% of those have secondary skills. So if we want an added value sector, we need, of course, to create education and to help those that are working there, because it's not only about giving jobs, it's about adding value to the economy. So here we go. This is really important. Youth share, this is the youth share of the total economy employment in travel and tourism. So by far, tourism and youth are quite the same. But of course, look at Greece there. Always, in every single country, doesn't matter where you are, youth has a strong percentage of the economy. As I told you before, women are facing a strong position in tourism, but only 23% of them are tourism ministers, are women, versus 20% of government ministers are women. So I think if we want this parity or gender equality, we will need to help, of course, to educate more prospect future leaders in order to, of course, lead in our sector. And this is what I told you. Look, regarding the employment quality. Of course, there are females, as I told you, but they have less than primary and lower secondary skills, or they have less than 2 years of experience. So that's why we have decided to create this, the UNWTO Jobs Factory, a new platform that it will be launched soon in order to connect demand and some offerings from governments and from corporates in order to add value through technology. So this platform through machine learning will help to spread the voice on creation of jobs. Second insight, of course, to focus on digital and tech skills, to focus on digital education. Our sector is really technological. The thing is that that technology in the sector is not aligned with the skills that are needed to work in the sector. So there's a lot of mismatch making, and there's a strong gap between the technology that we are using in tourism and the people that are working in tourism. So we will need, of course, a lot of new curricula in education focused on blockchain, on Internet of Things, on artificial intelligence, among others that are the most used technologies. And post-COVID times, government responses must consider something that is crucial in education today, that is lifelong learning, to unlearn, to learn, and to relearn, and to help other people to learn different type of skills in order to create new opportunities. That's why we created the Online Academy, a place where you can find top courses from all around the world, focused on, of course, students that want an easy and a rapid and a speedy certificate through online education. And last but not least, of course, sustainable investments. This is crucial. I already talked about the startups, that is the part of the offerings, but what about the demand? The venture capital for innovation, as you can see, once again, the top investors in tourism innovation are, once again, China and the US. So where are the rest? How are we aggregating value to promote green and tech investments in tourism? This is crucial today. Post-COVID times, ESG investments are gaining a lot of power. And this has to be related on the way people are developing new ventures or entrepreneurship. Environmental, social, and governance investments are gaining a lot of power, and it's 55% of the whole investment strategy inside the tourism sector. So that's why, once again, we decided to create some pilot projects with the IFC in order to develop a pipeline of projects where we can invest to recover the hotel sector. But one of the main things that they are working is to help those or countries or hotels to work and to be rebuilt, but they have to take into account a new green and sustainable business model. So if you have you can prove that you have a new way of thinking, the IFC in collaboration with UNWTO will give you green investments in order to develop or to recover your hotel. So I just want to end here because I would like to open the conversation. I just spoke about some facts and figures that I think are crucial today if we want a more sustainable and innovative sector. And of course, it's our responsibility if we want tourism back. I am optimistic that if we work together, we can, of course, recover tourism again.
So Natalia, I'm really excited for all this presentation because I really believe that gives food for thought to our audience, to Greek hoteliers. And some very interesting points are that at first, we didn't know that the World Tourism Organization has so many tools that are accessible by everyone. As I believe that tool with the innovation, with the startups, with the jobs, with the academy, I think that many tourism professionals don't know about these tools. And this is a great opportunity that we are in touch with all this new information. The second one is the question, where is Greece in the global innovation of tourism? And this is my question. When we created Hotelier Academy, I was wondering, okay, here in Greece, we specialize in tourism and hotels. Why not to spread the knowledge globally? So that's why we created Hotelier Academy. And this is a very important question. Let's all Greeks think how they can get into the market, in the global market, and bring new ideas. And regarding sustainability, it is a very, very crucial thing, and everybody must think about, okay, COVID made a big problem in the tourism sector, but we had over-tourism all the other years. We have to make the balance now. I think it's a very good opportunity to rethink the situation. Natalia, thank you very much. It was really great, all this presentation. But we have 3-4 questions. Can we move on that with the questions?
Of course.
Okay, give me 1 minute to share the document.
Okay, now you should see our presentation.
So we have just shared it. And Zenio, you
Yes, let me ask
start.
The first question. The first question is about the hot topic of our days. It's about COVID-19. Well, obviously, it has been a great shock for the global hospitality industry. However, our question is, do you believe that despite the mediated negative consequences that we are all facing and seeing, COVID-19 has actually helped in boosting innovation in hotels?
Yes, absolutely yes. Why? 2 things. First of all, as I told you before, we have seen with the IFC, with the International Finance Corporation, that, of course, if we rebuilt the business model by using renewable energies, by using green tech, etc., we can, of course, recover better, or we can have a better understanding on the hotel development. On the other side, the innovation is not only about technology. So when you see new ways of creating a business, I have seen, for example, here in Madrid, that most hotels, for example, are creating co-working spaces, rather because, of course, events and conferences are not able anymore, or at least for this year. So those spaces can be focused on, for example, developing co-working spaces for people, or the cafeterias. For example, yesterday I was at Four Seasons here in Madrid, so the lobby is have been changed into a cafeteria. So you can find new business models in order to improve the way you use your spaces. The gardens of the Four Seasons, for example, are used today for events, or for example, to have their media coverage. So that's another way, of course, of bringing income to the hotel, and it's not necessarily by the use of technology.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Natalia. It was great points. So most hoteliers believe that sustainability is related only to ecology. Which are the pillars of sustainability that most people, including hoteliers, tend to miss?
Okay. That's not true. When we are talking about sustainability, it's not only talking about ecology. To talk about sustainability, we have to talk about a better understanding to build a better future for everyone. So to me, sustainability is about using new technologies for good to help to spread the voice, for example, of education, to mind the skills of people or of vulnerable groups that, for example, are in rural areas that doesn't have access to the whole things that we have access in capital cities. So bringing technologies there to help them to improve their business, to improve their education, to improve their way of living is part of sustainability. Second of all, ethics. How I use that technology for good without taking those data to sell them or to promote them. Because of course you can sell the data you have, but then the day after you can be punished by the European Commission, or you can be punished as an unethical venture. So ethics here is crucial in sustainability because it's not only about doing a business, it's doing a long-term business using those kind of technologies. Third of all, it's about inclusion, to include communities, to include the people that normally speaking you won't include in the tourism sector. So for example, to include local tourist guides, to include local food on the cruises, to include local food on the airlines, to include local cultures during a tourism package. It's not only about massifying the way you travel, it's about adding value to the city or to the town or to the place that you are selling and you're promoting as a tour operator, for example. And last but not least, it's about bringing, of course, empowerment to the environment. So of course, how do I do waste management? How do I develop more efficiency on my investments, focused on maybe investing a lot today, but having better results and more profitable results in the future? So to me, sustainability, as I already said, has those 5 components in order to talk about a more sustainable business or a more sustainable sector. It's not only about using ecology.
Excellent. So let's move on to the next question. Now, we believe that there is a strong connection between sustainability and hotel design. But we wonder which is the right point for the hotelier to connect the two terms during the development of a new property.
Oh, that's amazing. I am super passionate about this thematic regarding, for example, cities. So when you talk about design, urbanism is crucial. So I would like to give an example on cities and how we can merge to the hotel sector. So when you're talking about cities, there are 2 types of cities. The cities that are created to be functional for people, and the cities that are created to be a place where business and where things are created. I prefer, of course, and thanks to the pandemic, there's a movement, of course, to create a better understanding of what we need from the cities, because, of course, to me, a city has to be created for people and for their citizens, not full of roads where you cannot drive, or where the traffic is absolutely terrible, or where everything is quite disorganized and you cannot find anything. But unfortunately, for good or for bad, that's the challenge when you emerge and you begin to grow. So inside the world, you have those 2 types of cities, and of course, ones are more livable than others. And of course, in Europe, I can say that we are we have a strong benefit because our cities in Europe are made for citizens. So of course, you can ride a bike, you can walk, you can do whatever you want inside a place. I cannot say the same in another regions because, as I already said, when you emerge, maybe that's one of the mistakes you take, that you grow and grow and grow, and you are not thinking about the future. So you're not doing this in a sustainable way. The same is with the hotels. What do we want from a hotel? So if I am trying to develop a new hotel, so let's put an example in Athens, a wonderful city. What do you want from that hotel? Is a hotel only for having some people to stay there, to pay for a service, and then to go back to their houses? Or it's a place that is a mini city or a place where you have to build a strong experience for that person, to make them feel that they are at home. So do you have any garden? Do you have green murals? Do you have free technologies? If it's a business hotel, it's there a super techy business center to help them. If it's about wellness, or if it's a corporate hotel, if I am doing business in Athens, do I have a strong gym or a strong place where I can find some place for leisure? So that's the way I will think about constructing a new hotel. It's not only about the building, because of course the building can be amazingly designed, but if inside the building you don't have a story to tell, or you don't have an experience to sell, it will be really difficult to sustain profit, because they will see as a normal place to have bed and breakfast with no experience and with no engagement with the people. And for good or for bad, today, when we have a lot of competition regarding tourism, if we want recovery, hyper-personalization is gaining a lot of importance, because of course we have to fight for those that are lucky and that can travel again step by step.
Thank you very, very much, Natalia. We love your point. I think the Greek hoteliers will be inspired by all these great ideas. So last but not least, as a global professional with a 360 view of the market, what would be your advice to Greek hoteliers for 2021?
For 2021, okay. First of all, is to positiveness have to be part, and resilience have to be part of the things that we are facing. No one in the world can say that it's having the same crisis as tourism has. So it's very difficult to say that everything will is still the same as in 2019, because that's not feasible. To achieve the numbers that we had in the past, and when I'm talking about the past, it's 2019, we will have to wait at least 5 years to go there. But if we want to advance, this is a golden opportunity to keep innovation and sustainability as part of this new business model. So of course, the virus is here to stay, and we don't know what will happen with the vaccine. And we don't know what will happen next year, if we will have a lot of lockdowns or if we are opening the world once again. Let's imagine the worst scenario. Once again, we revive 2020. We have to be prepared, because this year, of course, we of course didn't have any preparation because we didn't know about this. But next year, we have to be prepared. And part of that preparation is about building 3 scenarios at least, positive and a scenario, thinking that the world is going to be as it was before. Second of all, a meta scenario. So what I can do to attract my national Greek tourism and to preserve that national tourism that can help me to develop the income that I need to survive. And last but not least is, of course, how do I diversify my business model in order to bring new technologies here? I know a lot of startups, for example, that were doing something, and now they decided, because they were going down on their profit, and they decided to go straight ahead to another model, and now they gain a lot of profit or income thanks to the pandemic. So I give you an example, a startup that was developing cultural content through machine learning. Now, with that robot that they created, they, of course, they during the pandemic, no cultural agenda because everything was locked. So they decided to rebuild this business model, and now they use machine learning to create a map of the world where you can see the whole real-time protocols of the world, and what do you need in every single country in the world to travel. And of course, who are the new partners of this venture? The airlines. So they are working with top 10 airlines in the world, added value service. They're using the same robot that they were using before, but for another functionality. So the same is on the scenario number 3 of the hotels. How do I diversify with the understanding that maybe the next year will be as this one, where lockdowns will spread all around the world? I don't want that, of course, as part of the UNWTO. I want, of course, that we lead by example and we don't lock anything, and we can live with the virus again, and we can recover the economy again. But that doesn't depend on Hotelier Academy. That doesn't depend, of course, on the UNWTO. It depends, of course, on diplomacy and the governments, etc. So with that said, the things that doesn't depend to you, try to risk less in order to be prepared on this near future that, of course, is full of uncertainty, and it may help or it may not.
Thank you, Natalia, very much. It was a great honor to have you with us today. Let me remind to our audience that Natalia Bayona is the Director of Innovation, Education, and Investments of World Tourism Organization. It was a real pleasure for us to hear all these insights, all these new ideas, the tools of the World Tourism Organization. It's very important for Greeks to take the advantage of all these tools and to grow the tourism innovation. So, Natalia, I will close it in Greek.
Thank you very much.
Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. Ευχαριστούμε, Ναταλία. Ευχαριστούμε και όλο τον κόσμο που ήταν μαζί μας. And Natalia, we wish to meet you personally in the future to a real event. A real life event, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I have Greece in my heart. The UNWTO is really committed with Greece. Yesterday, our Secretary General was with the Minister Harry at the European Commission, pushing for the opening and the coordination of tourism. So we are really committed with Greece. We love Greece, and we know that besides this pandemic, we need to work together to coordinate better tourism, and of course, to make it more sustainable and more innovative.
Thank you very much,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.